So, welcome back, everyone. Last we left off, you and your compatriots believed that you had found enough evidence to bring forward to Captain Adrian Adelum to hopefully convict one Captain Serial. However, despite your best attempts moving through a lesser-known entrance out of the Phaex into Picos, you were greeted by the rap of a cane and one Captain Gadriel, who, seizing your party, brought them back to his place, his abode, the place where he works. And he questioned you for quite some time. Not finding the answers he was hopefully looking for, he decided that he was done with you, and it was time to move on to question his associate, one Captain Adrian Adelum. After finishing his questioning, he moved to a second chamber off to the south end of his place, where Adelum was waiting. As he goes and leaves and just saunters slowly over to Adelum, he gestures his hand up in this motion and then does a calling motion. And a couple of other enforcers of his, some other guards, come and grab you. They take you to a small room to wait. And in that time, you all kind of sit there and think and reflect on what has happened. We got to this place. And as conversation is about to be had, the door opens. And there's a series of guards there. Some of the same before, but a few additionals, with one Captain Gadriel leading the front. He gives them another motion, and they begin to clasp your arms and moving you out into the city streets of Picos. From there, you are moved into horse-drawn carriages out the back end of the building. You begin to travel for a period of time. Minutes turn into hours. At least it feels that way, as you are offloaded at a very familiar place to one of you. Actually, two of you. Jareth and Riva. You recognize this place. You're at the Skyport here. It's a welcoming sight, but also one of remembrance and fear. More for fear for you, Jareth, as the last time you were on an airship and you went up to Pios for your great progression to the next chapter of your life, your career, before it was all taken away. And Riva, this brings back painful memories of a time where life was simpler and a lot more carefree in certain regards. So, you are loaded up onto a grand airship within this place. You are led from the deck down into a holding area, which none of you are familiar with nor have been to before. So, with that, you find yourself traveling within an airship to the upper city of Pios. Is there anything any of you would like to do at this time?
I think... Do I recognize the ship?
Go ahead and make me a history check.
Okay.
So, you do recognize the ship as one of the more standard and generic guardian ships of the Costos Navis, which looks like this. Did that show for everyone?
No.
Nope. I see nothing.
That is weird. Oh, here we go. It's one of the many guardian ships that patrol around both the upper and lower city. Very standard its design. It is an armored and hulking beast. And you guys are all in one of the holding areas in the deck below.
Are there guards in the holding area with us, or
Oh,
do we
yes.
assume they're right outside?
There's a total of 4 guards in the holding area.
Okay. Is it kind of like a jail cell, like open, like bars, or is it just a small room?
So the room in front of you is nothing more. There's a simple table in the center of it, chairs all around with one door at the entrance. There are 2 guards posted at the back and 2 guards posted at the front.
Did we bring our evidence with us that we had on Serial?
You have everything with you.
Okay.
So yep, you didn't hand anything over. You didn't say too much. But yes, you have everything you would normally have on you with you. Nothing has been taken. Nothing has been, binded or put upon you. None of these figures, they don't seem intimidated by you, but they're watching you very closely.
I think I would look for someone, maybe not, one of the common, air finger quotes, sailors, foot soldiers, but maybe like a sergeant or someone like that, and just kind of like, hey, what exactly is going on here?
It's a larger dragonborn male, well dressed in the standard regalia of the air sailors, as you would call the airmen, if you will. Just kind of looks down over and goes, it's a very gruff voice, and goes, well, you're off to your fate. Good luck. Won't do you any good. So,
Luck's never been the problem, mate. Like I said, I want to know why we're here. I done nothing. He's done nothing.
he just has a bit of a smirk and just looks back and goes, well, you done something.
I mean, you've done something. I mean, technically everyone's done something.
He just kind of crosses his arms and just stares at you at this point.
I mean, you could have your men doing something in this rickety old barge. It sounds like sweep number 3 is out of alignment.
Sounds like mouth number 2 is about to be out of alignment.
I mean, you could certainly try.
He just snaps his fingers, and then 2 guards from the back come up, and one of them pulls out a gag. Just, it's just a simple handkerchief. He looks at you and goes, we can have a conversation which we're clearly not going to have just ramblings. Or you can sit there and shut up.
Well, like I said, sweep number 3 is out of alignment. Check it.
Okay. The two of them begin to come up and start to gag you.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead and make a athletics or acrobatics check.
So that would be, where is it? Where is it? There it is.
They're at advantage because there's two of them. Despite their best efforts, they're unable to gag you, and you just keep rambling throughout it.
No, I'm not rambling. I just told them that sweep 3 is out of
You're
alignment.
not going to say anything more?
No, I told no ships is out of alignment.
Just shut up.
Oh, don't say I didn't warn you.
All right.
I think
That-
Jareth tries to intercede and ask if Captain Adelum is on this ship as well.
The sergeant of the group kind of looks over and goes, "That's none of your business."
All right.
So, with that, words exchanged, information attempted to be had. After about 30 minutes of travel or so, it feels much longer, just chatting between each other or sitting in silence, whichever you choose to do. They bring you up to the great city of Pios, the upper city. It's majestic. Its inner workings are almost beyond imagine. It is a place that few get to go to from the lower city. It is beautiful. It is intricate. There's almost, it feels like a buzz in the air. Just this ever presence and almost pressure of magic. It's hard to put your finger on it, but this is familiar to two of you who've been here before. You all feel the ship come to a halt. It's docked. You are once again led up from the whole holding area you're in, through the central portion of the ship, to the top side, to the deck, led out down these long walkways from where skyships can dock here. And you're brought into a different area, one that neither you, Jareth, nor you, Riva, have been to or seen. You find yourself coming towards this large, grand stone opening. Intricate golden designs adorn it. There's script written all upon it. Though, how many of you speak Draconic? Or who amongst
I
you?
do.
I do.
I do.
Okay. So, Riva and Redwin, you look at this gold inlaid script upon this stone archway, and what it says is, it says the path of truth, and you're led through it. There are beautiful paintings adorning the walls, golden leaves decorating. It's almost as if they're trying to present this place to be alive and vibrant, though it looks seldom tread upon, as there are very few guards stationed here. And these ones are a little bit different than what you've seen down in Picos. Their armor is much more grand and polished, It looks pristine. And by comparison, it is some of the nicest quality that, any of you have seen. Redwin, go ahead and make me a intelligence check.
And I'm gonna give myself guidance since I'm.
Are you doing that out in the open, or are you trying to be sneaky about it?
Trying to be sneaky.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check. At disadvantage, because your hands are currently bound.
This is gonna be great, guys. Yeah.
5. You begin to cast guidance, trying to be as quiet and stealthy as you can. And the moment you do, you feel just the flat side of a sword on the back of your head, interrupting your ability to cast the spell. Oops. Not trying to hurt you too much, more of a friendly warning. And just goes,
Friendly, sure.
knock that shit off. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you're wrapped against the back. Your helmet protecting you from most of the blow.
Just out of curiosity, that doesn't consume a spell slot, correct?
Guidance is a cantrip.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Well, if it was a spell.
It would have
A required
consumed
spell.
it.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Go
go
okay,
ahead.
so
Go
can I
and
still
make
do a?
Yep, go ahead and make that intelligence check without guidance.
It's not letting me without an active.
I'll throw your characters on there just to make it easier.
Yeah, it's not. Let me try it from here.
$22. This is some of the finest craftsmanship you have ever seen when it comes to armor and weaponry. It is almost too perfect. You're not able to discern any flaws upon it as you look. So, you all are continued to be brought down further and further into this hallway. Almost coming to an abrupt stop, you see 2 large, grand oak doors in front of you. Nothing is written upon them. And as though you expect to go in, you are turned to the left. It's a little disconcerting because there's just a wall there. But the guards continue to drag you forward. Into the wall, through the wall. And you find yourself descending upon some dark, dimly lit stairs, leading down and down and down. This place, quiet, eerily quiet. And as you continue to go down, you start to see this blue light emanating from the end of a landing. And as you reach the final steps, you see a door with that blue light emanating from. There are 2 guards stationed at the bottom there. One opens it. It creaks loudly as though it hasn't seen much use. And begins shuffling you in one at a time. And you find yourselves in this dimly lit cell with blue light Nothing more than a couple of stone seats. In disarray. This place has not been taken care of well. As though why would it? Because it looks as though it's a holding area of some kind. And the sergeant who led you there just looks and goes, "We'll call you when we're ready. Might want to take some time to prepare yourselves." And with that, he shuts the door. So, what would you all like to do in the interim as you wait before you end up meeting with an individual of some kind?
Well, we were told who we were going to be taken to by.
Correct. You're going to be speaking with Imora, otherwise known as the Speaker.
And she's a member of the Act, correct?
They are a member of the Oct. Go ahead and roll me a history check, Jareth. And yeah, see if you actually know anything about them.
Great 10.
You think long and hard as you are forced into this small space. And other than being known as the Speaker, you're not... Nothing else is really ringing a bell. So, the time is yours for... Who knows? The last you were told was to get your story straight. Think about what you've done. Is there anything you'd like to discuss?
Well, they tell us to get our stories straight, but we ain't done nothing.
Well, you're all accused of being acquaintances of mine, is what I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, we are, but if anything, they's the ones that should be ashamed of what they tried to do to you.
Do you think the Oct is somehow maybe even involved in this plot?
I mean, there's not much that the Ark don't know. It could be that it's embarrassing to them and just casualties of the war, so to speak.
Or they could be trying to cover up a failed experiment. They could even try putting this on us and saying that we're associated with, what was his name?
Serial?
Yes.
Yeah, fat lot of that.
Oh no, not Serial. Well, it's Serial and possibly Tyr.
I mean, I don't rightly see how. I mean,
Well,
I guess if they wanted to say me.
well, we basically have absolutely no power here, so whatever they want to do to us, there's not much we can do.
You've always got the power, love. Always. It just depends on what you're willing to do with it. I mean, I don't know who we're supposed to be meeting. That's the problem, isn't it?
Well, and that we don't know who to trust. That's why we're here in the first place.
DTA. Don't trust anyone. Not here. We are nothing but... If flies on shit could have their own flies, we'd still be less than those flies.
Well, thank you for making me laugh in this situation, even though I don't know if it should make me feel any better.
Speaking of flies, we don't know if there are any on the wall listening.
Go ahead and make me a perception check, Jareth, or anyone else would like to at this time.
Yes. You're killing it.
Oh my god.
You hate to see it.
What about you, Nerso?
Oh, sorry, what was it?
Perception.
Perception check.
Are we alone?
You got a
Wait.
3, a 5, and 2.
There we
eights.
go.
Oh,
There we go. Keep them low rolls going.
Apart
Get 'em out of the
from
way.
the two guards outside, you all feel fairly confident you are alone and by yourselves, at least from what you can see in this space.
They just kind of wrapped us up, brought us here, and didn't really tell us much of nothing.
Well, and it sounds like we're just guilty of not trusting them and spilling everything we know from the get-go. And I get the feeling they don't really have much respect at all for anyone from the fakes.
Oh, of course not. All of us is nothing but outcasts. Like I said, we're less than the flies that are less than the flies of the flies.
did we leave any contingency policy? Should we not return for information to be leaked?
Somebody will eventually find my stash. Maybe. It is pretty well hidden, but
It all depends on who that somebody ends up being as well.
Right.
And if they really know and understand what it is they found.
probably not. Probably not. Just another normal rough and tumble fakes. It's not likely. Nathan and I don't go around broadcasting our business to just anyone.
So we don't know what we're accused of. We don't know what questions will be asked.
My guess is they see you as some kind of abomination.
And deserter.
Likely.
Ryan, how do arrests and trials usually go down on Picos?
Go ahead and make me a history check.
Oh man.
You can't remember the last time you heard of a trial being held per se. It's actually fairly uncommon. And in fact, you can't recall a time where there's been major crime of any sort committed within Picos. At least as far as the lower city goes.
I'll tell you, it's because families tend to police their own. And he makes a deep bow.
Are there a lot of disappearances in Picos?
Go ahead and make a history check.
Yeah, can I get in on that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll jump in as well if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a law enforcement, yeah, you absolutely can. Go ahead.
Let's just get these
Yeah.
low rolls out of the way.
Yeah, I'm saying getting my crappy rolls out of the way.
So the three of you begin to think, converse amongst each other, and it kind of, like Riva was saying, the upper echelons of society, they do tend to take care of their own. And Jareth, apart from the riffraff here and there missing, or someone just disappearing outright, you've only ever heard of those who have maybe been accused of a crime or have been committed and with evidence found but not quite captured yet. They escaped down below to the fakes to be lost forever in that world. But it's not common. Again,
better a life of exile than death.
All right.
Corwin, go ahead and make me a history check as well, at advantage.
As them rolls.
Goran, you've been awfully silent, as you usually are throughout this ordeal. And you've been thinking of something that Captain Gadriel had said to you before, and you keep thinking upon the phrase shadow touched. You've only ever been called that once. And that was during a very special and near and dear event. If you want to speak to me on that now, if you have any questions, feel free. Or if you want to message me, or if you want us to jump to another chat, we can do as well.
Can I do a roll on how well I know who we're about to go talk to?
Yes. Go ahead and actually make me a history check at advantage.
Double
12.
14s.
You know that Imora the Speaker, as he is called, is a male figure, human in form and elderly, or so you've been told. He's considered a very direct and fair individual, but fair in the sense of someone who looks down upon those they consider less than themselves fair. But he is also known that he is a genuine seeker of truth. But you're not quite sure what his truth is. That's what you're able to recall throughout your time in your teachings.
Alright. I'll just pipe up to the group. Just being like, we're slowly digging ourselves in this hole, but not saying anything. It looks like we're hiding something. Best thing, we might as well give them a little information. See what happens there.
I mean,
But aren't we actually hiding something?
I mean, true, but it looks more suspicious not saying anything than if we say a little bit. And then stop saying stuff.
I agree. I don't think we should give them everything directly. But I also don't think that we should try to actively hide.
I mean, throwing Serial under the bus always sounds fun.
Oh, we're gonna run him over.
Well, it may, and you know, this may be kind of what he was saying, but it seems to me that we know too little to lie effectively. And just telling the truth is probably the best option here.
Right. But, yeah, we don't know enough to lie effectively, or too much to not say anything.
I mean, completely. We don't. I mean, we was just trying to give Adelum what we had to see if he had other leads for us to go off of. I mean, some of the evidence we have is damning to the right people, surely. Maybe these is the right people.
I think it's our best bet.
Right.
I mean, that we do always run the risk of them being the wrong people.
I think they hold enough power that there's no way we're getting out of here if they don't hear what they want to hear.
I think you're right.
I mean, I think we could just take it a step further, just go all in. I mean, at this point, what we got to lose?
They could kill us.
They could do that. They could do that if they want to anyway.
Yeah.
Like level of power that we're walking amongst here. I mean, if they want us dead, I feel pretty confident that would have already been the case.
Or they're
Not-
just
not-
waiting for our information beforehand.
Yeah, not saying that they still don't want us dead, but they don't want us dead right at this particular moment.
So are we at least in agreement that we're not going to try to lie?
Define lie.
As in,
mean-
it's likely we're going to be cross-examined and not interrogated in a group as a whole.
I mean, there's lying by omission. That's still lying. So, are we giving them, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, yada yada yada? Or are we going to agree that we're holding back? I'm all for just laying it all out on the lawn and seeing what happens.
I mean, I agree at this point. Our whole reason for staying hidden was trying to avoid these people. Now that they've found us, withholding information is going to give us no true benefit.
If anything, it's gonna only hurt us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we have all the information that we have. I mean, we have evidence of tampering and corruption, R.E. Jareth. Maybe they know about it and want to hide it, and maybe they don't know about it and want to stamp it out.
Right.
I'm all for, laying all our cards on the table and letting what will be will.
Yeah.
But we all need to decide that here and now.
I agree.
Alright.
I do as well.
Don't say anything about the tree.
But you
What tree?
just
Exactly.
you just fucking did.
The big oak tree outside the red ones?
He said,
Yep.
"Don't talk about the fucking tree."
Oh, I'm sorry, outside the loud fists?
Stop talking about the tree.
It's more of a shrub.
Poor oak tree.
I don't know. Calling it a shrub gives shrubs bad names.
I'm I'm not going to tell anyone then that I planted that from a seedling.
You guys are the worst sometimes. So,
All I have to add, Ryan, is knee.
Question, Ryan.
yes.
Do we know from living down on Picos if the Oct are referred to as like any sort of grand titles? Like, if we were to address them, you know, are they referred to as anything but the Oct? Or
Yeah, go ahead and make me a history check.
a what?
A history check.
Finally.
Something good.
27.
Holy shit, Erica rolled above a 10?
Yep.
There is a god.
Nat 20. There you go.
Appreciate it.
So throughout your years of studying, hoping to finally make it into the magical society that you have oddly enough found yourself in, finally, but not the way that you had hoped. You have read that they preferred to be called by their proper titles, which is of the 8 members of the Oct. You have Abris, the Protector, Citrith, the Changebringer, Domri, the Seeker, Emora, the Speaker, Icarus, the Creative, Idar, the Missive, Obitus, the Whisperer.
Can you write all those down, please?
I will.
Yeah.
I will be sharing all that information.
Like
to
I said,
you.
we're going to be speaking to the speaker.
Correct.
Now, do you refer to them in like third person as like the speaker?
I guess I think maybe saying just, speaker.
So so Redwin, you would also know this, and if you look at the People of Note journal entry for everyone, they are now revealed, as well as brief descriptions of them should show up as well. You would know the proper way, for instance, for Emora. You would refer to them as Speaker Emora, or for Abris, Protector Abris. With the natural 20, you would also know that each one of them is a direct reflection of a specific school of magic, and they are considered to be masters of that school, of the 8 known schools of magic. They are known to have the powers to turn the tides of near anything that they set their minds to do. However, they don't often interfere in the lives of anyone outside of their realm. Also, you would know, again, Nat 20, that the names of each of the members of the Oct have not changed in known history.
Ugh.
Are they immortal or do they inherit names?
You don't know.
I will share what I know about the Oct, and I'm trying to find my journal entry. Not that one.
So I would also say you would be able to describe at least how they looked throughout textbooks that you've seen. So with that, here we go. All right. So, this is how Abris, the Protector, is portrayed as. This is how Cytreth, the Changebringer, is portrayed as. And you've only found this in very obscure readings and dealings and purchasing of books over years and years and years. This is how Domri, the Seeker, is described.
Well, that's curious.
Excuse me?
Interesting.
Curious and curious.
That reminds me of someone's certain vision that I think he shared with us.
This is
Yeah.
how Imora, the Speaker, is described. This is how Idar, the Missive, is described.
He seems nice.
This is how Icarus, the Creative, is described.
The last one made me think of a certain SCP.
Oh, yeah.
And this is how Obitus, the Whisperer, is described. So,
You're gonna need to put all those photos in that too.
yep. Oops. They should all be unhidden. So,
Nope.
all right. So with that, if you actually look in the token section, you should all be able to start to see at least the portraits
Okay. There
of
we
these
go.
individuals. Or what Redwin was able to describe through her obscure curiosities over years and years of research. So, with that, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
I think it's just we're going to tell the truth. That's easy enough to remember. It's the truth.
And present the evidence as they allow it.
Honestly, that's all we've got.
And with that, the door to your temporary prison slowly opens. The same dragonborn sergeant of the guard motions for you to follow him, says, "All right, with me." And he begins to lead you up the steps. One of the longest walks of your lives to this point. He leads you out through where coming in you saw a stone wall. You see glowing runes etched into the walls and the ceiling around this. Not something you noticed coming in, but going out, clearly intending to hide the space from those who do not know of its existence. And with that, he brings you to the door, files you up, knocks 8 times, very loudly. He waits. You hear a chime, high-pitched, very distinct ring out. This ding! And it echoes for but a moment as the doors to this chamber open and you find yourself in this grand room of judgment. As though in some kind of a dream or nightmare, this man, old, strong in figure, who, apart from being described recently, would have struck you as someone of prominence, someone of royalty, begins to hover down almost through the window and sits at the end of the room upon a series of chairs. You see Imora, the speaker, as was described. He as much as his presence would shock anyone just by the telling of it, his actual demeanor is almost one of a caring old man as he looks upon all of you one at a time. And he just waves his hand and goes, "Oh, my children, those are not needed." And the cuffs that were binding you on your arms just drop away. And he motions for the sergeant that had escorted you. Says, "Oh, my child, you may take your leave." And with that, the sergeant of the guard, this very impressive dragonborn, bows deeply, doesn't say a word, turns around, and walks out, shutting the doors behind him. Imora gestures for you all to take a seat. What do you do?
Sit.
Take a seat.
Sit.
I go to stand behind Riva.
Okay. He begins to pace back and forth, looking at you, and goes, "Please, let us have our introductions, for I am Imora the speaker, and who do I have the pleasure of judging on this fine day?"
Speaker Imora,
Yes.
I am Rivelos Skybound.
Ah, child of the Skybounds. The banished one, I believe.
That would be correct, Speaker Imora.
We have not met before, but I know your father. Welcome to my court. And you who stand so boldly behind him. Do your legs not tire? How may I address you?
I am called Nartho Blueshade.
Welcome. And you? One of armor. A dwarf, I believe. What is your name?
Speaker Amora, you may call me Redwind Loudfists.
Ah. Shadow Touched. I have heard about you. From Gadriel. How may I address you?
Well, Speaker Amora, my name's Gorwin Ed Keen, or a name you probably know me as does Seer.
Ah. Honesty amongst the fallen. Interesting. And you, fallen child, Jareth, welcome. So, let us start out with the formality. I need everyone to make me a charisma saving throw as he holds his hand out and this golden light begins to drift above you.
Circle of truth.
It's casting a familiar spell, Zone
Nope.
of Truth.
Not today.
0.
I'm sorry. What?
Charisma
Charisma.
saving throw.
Charisma. That isn't a charm effect, is it?
It is
Oh,
a charm
then I
effect.
So I
Yeah,
get
but I-
advantage on
so
that.
do I.
correct.
Yeah, so do I.
There you go.
Sorry, that's what I was checking. And
There we go.
Reba, you are unaffected by the spell. You may speak how you wish.
why didn't that give me advantage? Roll it again.
Go ahead and roll again, Nertho.
It doesn't matter.
So,
I get a
Well,
bonus
neither
for getting
great.
0.
nope, 0 gives you no bonus. So, everyone except for Riva, you must answer him truthfully. So I will
And
post
Jareth, rolling
the
a
spell.
0, you have to speak in rhyme.
Sing song. Shakespearean cadence.
Oh, iambic pentameter? No.
So there is the spell Zone of Truth for your reference.
Yeah.
So, with that, he begins to walk back and forth, almost staring through each and every one of you. And he goes and looks over to you, Jareth. And he pulls up a chair and sits down across from you. And looks you directly in the eye and goes, "What happened? Why have you fallen so far? That you would avoid the embrace of those who wish to make you better. You who were blessed with our gift." And he just sits back and waits for your response.
To my knowledge, it was not the intended gift or one that was made known to me. As far as appearing to have hidden from this, it was under recommendations from my captain or previous captain, depending on my current standing with the Quasitors.
Oh, but it is a boon, it is a gift. It lets you gleam and begin to understand why it is that you do what you do. Please, show me. Your gift should take nothing from you but give you the beginning of everything.
Speaker Amora, before I show you, may I ask you a question?
Anything, child.
Are you aware of the alterations or changes?
In what way?
Oh, I'm trying to look up what it was.
The blessings?
Yes, of the ritual that, to my knowledge, was supposed to happen versus what actually happened.
Oh, I understand. My companion who overseed the birth of this process. It is a thing of beauty. What do you mean, what happened between yours and any others? They're similar, but different to each and every one. What happened to you, child?
I removed the prosthetic arm and show him the stone.
He begins to lean in and starts to examine it up and down. His eyes flash for but a moment. And up until this point where he seemed as if he had already known more or less what was going on, there's a curious look on his face, a sparkle in his eye, but apart from that, you don't notice anything. Jareth specifically, as he's kind of hovered closest into your purview. I would say Nertho and Riva, you would also notice this with your passive perception. There's a look there, but you're not quite sure what it is. He goes, ah, I see. Well, I will have to come back to you. I need to consider. And he moves down the line one. Gorwin, as it were. What is your connection in all of this, and what do you wish to speak on?
Well, I had been instructed to follow, and follow I have.
And nothing more? Just an observance.
Yeah, I would say as enough servant. I do have one question to ask you in specific.
Please.
Do you know of one gentleman per se known as Tyr? He knew some information not many people know.
He pauses for a moment and thinks. I don't believe I've ever met anyone in my life named Tyr. Is he someone I should meet?
If he knows of my ties, he might know of your ties, and he does not like my ties per se.
I make an insight check on
Absolutely. On what? Feel free, anyone, to make an insight check whenever you want to.
how he reacts to the name Tyr initially.
Go for it. Give me a private to GM insight check. Whenever you would like to, anyone. Okay. He seems to be speaking the truth, Jareth. Imora looks at you, Gorman, and goes, and what ties do I have? Apart from
Well,
who I am.
Well, if what I have heard is true, you go by Speaker, but I've also heard you've gone by the name The Voice, which is a name I recognize a bit more.
He looks over at you as, I am called by many names, but that is not one I've heard. Redwin, you do notice that as he looked at you're in close enough proximity, as he looked over at the stone embedded in Jareth's arm, there was almost the slightest look of concern in his eye. There was something unknown to him there in that space.
Okay.
So he says, Gorwin. That is not a voice I have been called. It is not one I have been told I am known by. For I only speak on the truth. And a voice can speak on many things. I will come back to you. Redwin, was it?
Yes, Speaker Amora.
How did you come to know Jareth, and what is your involvement in this?
Well, one night I was returning home from running errands, and I saw him lying in an alley. The arm that you see before you now was injured, having recently been severed. And I took him home to attend to his wounds. I had never seen a gem of that sort embedded in anyone like that before, but of course there's lots of things that I don't know. So I wasn't particularly concerned other than getting him well again. And fashioned him that arm in order that he might not miss the loss of his original too much. That is how I became acquainted with him.
So, an innocent bystander in a world of turmoil.
Didn't seem so at the time, sir. Accidents happen all the time. I've encountered plenty before.
I guess there are accidents in alleyways, though I don't believe the two have anything in common in this instance.
It appears so.
Well, at the very least, thank you for taking care of one of my own. I do truly mean that. He gives you a nod and moves over and stands in front of you, Riva, looking directly at you, Nertho. Goes, Nertho, was it?
Yes.
And why does someone I can only assume is a friend of the banished with someone as assumed to be righteous as Jareth? What is your part in all this?
I owe Riva my life. So until that debt is repaid, I will be at his side wherever he goes.
A life debt. Honorable. Not something seen these days. Well, at least in the places below.
Perhaps if there were more, it would be a better place.
And you, banished. Is it true that he follows you for a debt?
He does.
And what does one so banished have in the place of those in the top side?
Think, having lived a life above and below, it's hard to let either one go.
Ah, a child between worlds. With family above and below. Where does your allegiance lie?
My allegiance, honored speaker. Truth be told, lies first and foremost with myself. As
I would like to insight check that.
Riva or the speaker?
Riva.
Go for it. Riva, go ahead and make a persuasion or deception check to be blind.
Oh, crap, I rolled mine public.
Go ahead and roll yours
Fine.
blind as well.
Oh, damn it, did it normal again. One more time.
We'll get there.
Just count it.
There we go. No, if you threw away the first one, I have to throw away the second.
Yep. Nertho. Riva appears to be telling the truth in this instance.
Okay.
but there's more to it.
Maybe.
First and foremost to myself, and then those I consider family. Not those that I'm related to by blood, but those I consider family.
So, your father, do you consider him family?
My father, other than the blood relation that I have with him, is not my family.
Interesting. That is good to know. And what is your relation with Mr. Jareth?
My relation, well, it's a bit complicated. I've been known to help him find things that maybe he couldn't find on his own. Help him gather information that maybe from places he couldn't gather it himself. And I consider him a good friend.
So despite your banishment, you still hold some value in the top side.
One's placement in life doesn't necessarily negate the value of other things, whether they be beyond his or her, looks over at Redden's, reach, or a matter of one's station. Valuable things are valuable to those who find them so.
Interesting. I'm glad to see you haven't lost your perspective despite your new station. So, and he just moves slowly back to the center of the group. So, Jareth, what do you think happened and went wrong? And where you got that thing on your arm? Please, anyone.
My initial understanding, it was an experiment.
Experiment? We don't
Correct.
experiment when we have something that works. What do you mean when you say experiment?
I present to him the letter addressed to Serial from Tyr. Which states, enclosed is the Amaranthi Oath. With your pact becomes binding. I look forward to seeing how your experiment proceeds. I will be down here for the time being. Signed, Tyr.
He grabs the letter and begins to read from it, silently to himself. Ah. So Serial is the one you believe did this to you. Is that what I am to understand?
I believe Serial had a hand, but I do not think that he was acting alone, nor do I think it was his decision directly.
We all have a choice in what we do. And what is this oath? His eyes narrow as he kind of leans in towards you a little bit from his position.
Did we ever get any information on the oath?
The oath itself, like what it was, no. I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I relayed that information that we don't know what the oath is, only that we've met Tyr on one occasion.
Interesting. He looks over at you, Redwin, and goes, Redwin, do you find this to be the truth?
Yes, Speaker Amora. Going through the details in my mind, I do not believe we have come across the oath itself that he speaks of. It is only hinted at in this journal and a few other pieces of evidence we've collected at.
He sits back for a moment. Goes, interesting. And you, Nertho, do you have anything else to indicate that this is true or false in any other way?
We based off against the what was that mechanical device the
The
captain
automaton.
summoned? Yeah, didn't we acquire a piece of that with the sickle?
Yeah,
Sigil?
you did. Yep.
Yeah. Do we have that with us that we could show?
We have a rubbing.
You have a rubbing of it. The original is kept back in your stash.
Yeah. So we have a rubbing of a sigil that ties to it, and we could provide the original piece if required. This was found guarding, a place that would only be occupied by people who were involved in whatever's going on.
Nertho, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
This is
Make the Public or private, your call.
That's,
We'll go private, actually.
yeah.
Okay. He looks at you and goes, "Ah, I do believe I know this. Etching, if you will. But I don't know if that's... So, you have an etching, you have a letter. What else do you have to offer?"
Did we ever determine the journal's origin?
You did. You do have the journal as well.
I have the journal.
Correct. Yes,
specifically.
you do have the journal.
But did I ever suss out whose journal it actually was?
Yes, you did. It has the journal had the exact same symbol on it as the etching, as the automaton did, and the etching that you've provided. Yep.
Well, Speaker, if I may,
You may.
I'll have a journal here bearing the same emblem. I believe it's the beast aerials, and if you look at the entries in it, especially the J90 and the J107, it might make it a little clearer. And I hand over the journal.
He grabs the journal from you and looks at the front of it, the symbol, and begins to thumb through the pages. And he goes, after a few minutes of reading and deliberation to himself, he looks over at you, Riva, and goes, "Is this authentic?"
To the best of my knowledge.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check at advantage. Okay. So you have a etching, a rubbing of an automaton. You have a book. Do you have anything else you'd like to provide in your case? Anything you wish to bring forth?
Is there any open flame around?
Yeah, there's, again, numerous... What you see in the
Yeah.
imagery in front of you. There's numerous candles and
Yeah.
all that.
If you would like, I could summon a likeness of Tyr in the flame so you could see him in case you know him by a different name.
Oh, please.
So
If
I'll
you
use
have something to help, I would
I'll
love
use,
to know.
control fire to shape the flames into the image of Tyr's face.
And with that, you watch as Nertho begins to bring the fire from a lit candle above to a shape in his hand to a red and orange hues of Tyr's face. The speaker looks closely.
I'm gonna make an insight check on his reaction to it.
And begins to
Same.
study him hard. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
As well as go for it, Riva. Anyone who'd like to.
You want blind or private?
To me, to private to GM. He looks long and hard. And then leans back, rubbing his chin. Kind of looking at you one at a time, and goes, "I have not met this man. I am not familiar with this Tyr fellow. You believe he has an involvement in this, is what it seems."
So far, that's what the evidence that we have seen leads us to think.
Yes, he seemed to be the one most in charge of the ones we've met so far.
Speaker, if I may.
You may.
During the start of our conversation, you mentioned that you were aware of what happened and that you had a companion or compatriot to oversee it. Might I ask, to your knowledge, who was at the coronarium?
Oh, my compatriot oversaw the creation of this event. He was not present at your event. But I think we can bring in someone who was. And he waves his hand towards the door as you see a new figure enter the chamber. One you haven't seen before, and you specifically have not seen in quite some time. You see one Captain Serial be brought in chains into the room where you're at. The sergeant of the guard bringing him in and sitting him down opposite of where you are in a chair, and again removing the chains from his arms. Goes, I believe we can ask someone who was. Please. Jareth, would you like to ask your question? And he looks over at Serial, who's just sitting there, looking... He looks confident in his position. So, Jareth, fledgling into our order, or maybe not so much anymore. You were asking?
Now, does Zone of Truth affect people who show up after?
I was just going to ask, did he enter the Zone of Truth when he entered?
He is... I need an Arcana check from both of you.
Okay.
I don't think it's
Oh,
right.
fair. Do you want this one private?
No.
Yeah, go ahead. No, this doesn't have to be private.
Can I make that check as well?
Yes. Anyone who has arcane casting ability, which is everyone in this party, can go ahead and make an Arcana check. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, hold on.
So... Gorwyn and Redwyn. You've been under the influence of this spell before, to which you knew you were under the influence. And I would also say, Riva, even with your roll, last time you avoided this as well. The three of you have the understanding that you are under the effect of it to some degree. But this individual is unlikely to be under the effect. So, with that, Jareth, your question to one Captain Serial.
Who was present at my coronarium?
He looks over at you and goes, I was. So is my other compatriot. Oh, she's nowhere to be fucking found, is she? Pardon your speakerness. And the speaker just goes, Is she now? Kind of looking over at Serial questioningly. and looking over at you, Jareth, for a moment, and looking back at Serial, holds a hand up and just gestures back from Serial to you, Jareth. And you've never seen someone be launched out of a chair so fast in your life as Serial ejects from where he's at in rapid motion, his face slammed up against your exposed arm where the crystal resides, and he goes, "My dear Serial, have you seen this before?"
Well, if he wasn't in the zone of truth, he certainly is now.
Yep. With that, I actually have to make a saving throw. So, we will. Okay. He
Riddler.
looks at that crystal for but a moment, and Serial just goes. His face is contorted. Goes, "Yes." And goes, the speaker, Amora, looks and goes, "Oh, well, I have many questions. Sergeant, I think I'm done with him." And just points at Serial and points to the doorway. And once again, Serial is just launched through the center, this piece here, this table that presents itself with, and none of you really looked at it until now, until Serial's about to impact it, but it almost has this listing of people to be questioned. And there's some names on there you recognize, there's some you don't. And before you're really able to take it in, Serial goes flying through it, out the doors, and the doors shut behind him. Just right after the sergeant, that Dragonborn who had led you here, just rammed through it, just almost in a panic. And the speaker, Amora, looks at you and goes, "I think I have some answers. But I have one last question. We'll start with you, Mr. Skybound. Do you know of anyone aiding Captain Serial in this gem endeavor?"
I do.
Ah. Who would that be?
Well, there's that here fellow,
Uh-huh.
first and foremost. And then, and he whips out another letter. There's this. And he hands over the letter from my father. Because that family isn't blood. It's who you make it.
He grabs it from you and goes, "I believe we have some more parties to speak with. Nertho, is there anyone else that you would like to bring about in light of this information between Captain Serial and Etham Skybound?"
I don't have anything to add that Riva can't.
Very well. Redwin Cloudfist, was it?
Yes, Speaker Amora.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Those were the only named accomplices that we came across, but we certainly came across many others in person that appeared to be working with at least Tyr. So we don't know how far this goes.
Very well. Corwin. Anyone else?
Oh,
Not
and real quick
Yep,
point
go ahead.
of
Sorry.
rule point of order. I have failed my save because Zone of Truth is not a charm spell, so therefore I do not get advantage on it. But
Oh,
I have been
fair.
telling the truth the whole time.
Okay, that's fair. Perfect, got it. And you have Gorwin.
Not that I'm aware of.
And my dear child, is there anyone else you would like to let me know about you believe to be involved in this endeavor?
Guessing he's addressing me.
Yep. He's looking at you a little bit differently than everyone else you've picked up on slowly as he's talked to you. He does have a concerned look on his face. Again, he refers to everyone as a child of some sort or another, but that almost feels like reflex. But to you, you get this sense of, it's almost like he feels as he's a parent of you of some kind, which is it's a little off-putting. But he presses once more with his question. Anyone else?
The only ones that I'm aware of are Serial, Tyr, and whoever was assisting Tyr. Perhaps a group of Durgar, but we've dispatched those.
The Dark Dwarves. Very well. Unless anyone has anything else, I believe we are done for today.
Also, outside of giving you the actual metal plate from the automaton, we have all the little letters here and there that mention Tyr's name, but
Well,
if you would like those,
please. I will take
Yeah.
whatever you will give.
yeah, I'll hand over all the stuff that we got off that
Okay.
monstrosity. Like the packs of lifeblood, station upgrades.
Perfect. He gathers that information from you, those letters, those books, those journals, all of that. And he goes, well, I thank you for your time and for the truth. For that is the most important thing. Please. I have much to deliberate on and more questions to ask of others. I will speak with you soon. It's the first time he's smiled looking at all of you. And it's... Everyone go ahead and make me an insight check. Private. Okay.
There we go.
All right. So Riva. To everyone else, his smile appears one of contentness and finding whatever truth he was seeking. But Riva, to you, there's something off-putting about it. You're not sure what, but it doesn't sit with you right. And with that, the doors to this chamber open. And you were led outside and back down to that simple, shoddy cell. And with that, we are going to take a 5-minute. We'll take 5 minutes for whoever needs to grab a drink, use the restroom, whatever you need to do, and then we'll continue from there. So I will be right back.
Oh, that was a good time to roll in that 20.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
rolled above like a 12 throughout any of that.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Very interesting.
But no, Nathan, that's the list of spells that we get advantage on.
Yeah, that's smaller than I thought it would be.
Those are the only charm spells.
Well, and there are
There are
there's-
monster
gonna say,
abilities.
yeah, and a
There's
lot
like
of stuff that's like, you know,
There's a list. The monster ability list is probably 2 or 3 longer than that.
Yeah, where it's like if they are affected by this, they are charmed, and while they are charmed, all this other bad stuff. But
Yeah. But yeah, Zone of Truth is spell tagged as control.
yeah, that's why I asked. I wasn't sure if it was
Yeah.
like everyone is considered charmed and cannot or
Nope.
what, but yeah, it does seem like it should be a charm effect.
It does, but it's not.
Yeah.
But we went in here we went into the whole thing like we're gonna tell the truth. Period. So
Yeah.
and fuck my dad. Now, I have a couple interesting things that are about to happen because of that, but you'll see. Oh, I finally went in and got a haircut today.
Yeah. I have had one since 2019.
Oh God. Well, in the summer I just shave it myself,
Yeah.
but then winter rolls around and I just let it grow, beard and all.
It's pretty much what I do, but I just let it grow in the summer too.
So, well, my friend Heather, she used to work at my wife's best friend's salon. She started her haircutting career out at the truck stop. So she's really good with men's haircuts.
Mhm.
And I went in with this big, just shaggy head of hair, and she's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "No, just cut my hair."
Mhm.
And I do that to her off. I do that to her every spring. I come in with this big, shaggy head of hair. I'm like, "No, you just cut it. Don't ask me what I want. You're an artist. Do your art." And then I sent the wife a couple pictures, and she's like, "God damn it. Why do you gotta not live at home right now?" But she too has a tiny terrorist right now. Her little boy just turned 2. So, tiny terrorist. Yeah, I'm taking Wednesday off of work because Fargo is supposed to be getting like 2 feet of snow.
Gross.
Whoa.
We were supposed to get
So-
14 inches here, but that's calmed down to like less than 6.
Oh, we're supposed to get like 2 to 3
Yeah.
now, I think, tops.
Oh, is it? Good.
Yeah. Yeah, but Fargo's expecting like over between tomorrow morning and Thursday morning, 1 to 2 feet.
Blech. That's gross.
Yikes.
So I've already taken Wednesday off, so I'll pick my little boy up for an overnight tomorrow night after I get off work. He loves coming over here. It's quiet, less drama, clean. Like I said, I ended up scoring a nice 50-inch TV for a reasonable price. And
There you go.
he's got his Hot Wheels monster trucks, alligator smash, racetrack, and run around and
Do
there
crazy
are
kiddo
times-
stuff.
There are times that he's just like, I don't like Daddy's house. But he says the same thing at Mommy's house. I don't like Mommy's house. I want to go in Daddy's beep beep. Like, just being the tiny tyrant. I mean, he's 2.5. What do you expect?
Alright.
So, Eric will be back shortly.
As Riva is sitting here,
Yes.
I mean, we have all of our stuff on us. They didn't disarm us. They
Nope.
didn't. Can I make my flame? Can I make my blade turn green?
Go ahead.
Like, can I?
Yeah.
Like, or
Let's
is there
certainly try.
something or is there something blocking it?
Oh, go for it.
I attempt to make my blade turn green.
You, once again, in everyone's recent memory, you begin to just run your hand along your blade quickly as small runes almost appear and then vanish as it starts to just emanate that green flame.
Okay. That being said, I discreetly begin. Let's see, where is it? I know it's not. I don't think it's actually technically in my inventory, but it's in my inventory. I have the other scroll of sending.
No, so you kept one, and the other one you put back. It's in your stash.
No, I took it out of my stash.
Oh,
I
no,
said
you're
that
right. That is right. Yep, so yeah, you do have one more scroll of sending.
And I began to cast sending to my mother.
Ah. All right, what would you like to say to your mother in 25 words or less?
All right, 25 words or less.
I'm here to count.
Yeah,
back.
I don't have anything like in particular. Like I didn't plan it out like ahead of time. This just kind of came to me at the last everything that was going on.
Let's go it off the cuff. What would you like to send to one?
Dad has fallen in with nefarious people. The Oct have found out. You need to distance yourself from him now. Love, Riva. 21.
Perfect. All right. So you send that message, and a brief pause comes before you hear the sound of your mother. And she responds with, Riva? Thank you. He hasn't been the same since the incident. I'll be moving to my spot. Stay safe. And the message ends.
Yep.
So what do you suppose happens now?
Well, he didn't seem happy.
No, he seemed very offended that the gift of the molding has been tampered with.
Well, I mean, at the end there, he seemed more troubled by our information than anything else. I mean, he might have seemed like, hey, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. That's not what I got. He's left with more questions than when he came in.
And I suppose for someone like Speaker Imora or any of the Oct, they aren't accustomed to not knowing much at all.
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised Well, I'm not surprised. He probably knows, obviously, way more than what he's letting on. I mean, he's the speaker.
They already had Serial in custody.
They must have already been suspecting him, or maybe Captain Adelum was able to tip them off or find more information on his own.
Did we have any information regarding to who was assisting Serial during the coronarium?
You did. You had the name of one other individual.
One of the
Captain
captains.
Talantis.
Yes.
Where was that? Because I could have sworn that there was something else about another one of the captains, but I couldn't remember and couldn't find it.
That
Yeah.
was from Jareth's memory. That wasn't from
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
Yep. Way to go, Jareth.
Well, it's something else we could bring up to him. I'm more curious as to what information they have that they might be willing to disclose to us as well.
I'm thinking probably not much.
Well, I'm thinking that's what you're thinking, wrong. You really think that they is under any obligation to tell us what all? They're not. We're here to do their bidding. I mean, hey, we're still alive. I mean, perhaps we've all been led to believe that the Ark are more all-seeing than they really are. Or they really are, and it was nothing but a test. To see how truthful we could be.
Oh, I fully believe it was a test. Speaker
Right.
Imora is the mage, the head mage of enchantment. This is his specialty.
Well, I think, one of the ways I get through life, love, is everything's a test. Test the wit, test the skill, test the bravery, test the courage, test of your, well, maybe not in your case, but in Jareth's case, testicular fortitude.
I don't know. He seemed. I don't think that when we went in there, Serial getting detained like that was a foregone conclusion. Like, yes, seeing what we were made of may have been part of it, but I don't think that was a plan.
Well, I think, like the lot of us might see Serial as this higher up being an echelon, and to be fair, he is. But to someone like the speaker, Stereo's no more than the trash that we are. That's how much higher up the Oct is. Stereo's a pawn And
one who is
it's best for us to keep that in mind, that if Stereo's upon, and we're less than, I mean,
What was your time in Pios like? For you to
dockyards, shipping, going to and fro.
And even then, you still got the sense from the Oct that we're no more than pawns to them.
It's with my family. It's even as a minor. I mean, we're not the minorest of houses, but we're not the greatest of houses either. But we play a vital role in commerce, which, as anyone intelligent enough knows, is the lifeblood of any civilization. That the Oct do what they will when they want to, and answer to each other, none other. If they have a whim, as long as it's not gonna bother another of their peers, they'll do it. I mean, there's so much we don't know about all of it.
Right.
And so much more that they do know.
I mean, I can't even begin to fathom. I mean, why is it always, as you were saying, Redwin? They've all been the same. Is it the same people? Have they found a secret to living these immortal lives?
Well, some of them aren't people at all.
Yeah, the one you described seems like a nightmare out of a steampunk novella.
Yeah, a Warforged, which I suppose technically has no limit to their lifespan, but
I mean, we are so far in above our heads that at this point, despite the surprises that come, I'm not really surprised. It's unexpected turn after unexpected turn, and it's like, I know Netho wasn't shocked that I handed over the letter about me dad, and I hope the rest of you weren't either. I meant what I said. Family is who you choose it to be. Now, I do have a question. Gorwin.
Yep.
What is this about following?
Well, when we first started, I had given a letter saying that Jareth had gotten into some trouble and to follow him and keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, but by whom?
Like as I told him, one who calls himself the...
Say that again, you broke up.
Oh, like I said to him, by one who calls himself the Voice.
Okay.
and you thought the voice was Imora.
Yeah.
And Goran, I have to ask.
And Imora acted as though it was not him, and it's possible it wasn't. As
It's possible that it wasn't, but
as the player knows that he rolled a really crappy insight check on that one. But it's possible. It's possible that he was. I'm just. I've always known you more than you seem to be going, and that's never really bothered me. Just as I'm more than I seem to be. I mean, my cards are on the table now. You know, I come from a noble commerce family, and my dad's involved, and like I turned over my dad's information without even batting an eyelash, and that's all gravy. It doesn't. I just need to know that we can trust you in all of this. That you're on our side.
of course.
And for that, I would like to roll an insight.
Go ahead. Give me an insight check, private to GM. And then
Yeah. Okay.
Gorwin, give me a insight check.
Don't
Gorwin,
bother.
give me, okay.
Don't,
Well,
don't bother. Don't
might
bother.
matter.
Gorwin.
Gorwin, give me a deception or a persuasion check. Private to me, your choice.
I mean, you rolled below a 10 without telling me.
Yeah. Riva, he's telling the truth.
Yep.
And Gorwin, I have to ask.
Hey, I mean, I went from rolling a nat 20 to a nat 1. I'm either high or I'm low, baby. Let's do this.
Are
Now
you
let me
willing to
stab
share
something?
why two different people have referred to you as shadow touched?
Sure,
Can I make a history check on that term?
Go ahead and make it at disadvantage.
All right.
You have no idea.
Word. Damn, dropping that 19 hurt.
Well, I'll tell you some information, but some things, keep in mind, are best left unsaid, as to not only protect myself, but to protect my family.
Understand.
But let's just say there's reasons I was always able to get information that seemed impossible to get. And that I have connections all around.
Thank you for sharing.
So, at this time, it's been about the better part of an hour or two between deliberation on what occurred and just sitting and thinking upon what could happen and what has happened as the door once again opens and the sergeant of the guard, this dragonborn, kind of looks about the room and goes, "Loudmouth, just you.
Yeah?
Come with me."
All right.
So,
Did you check the sweep?
just like you checked your mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He shuts the door
All
behind.
right.
You can keep talking to him if you'd like to up the stairs as he begins to lead you up those familiar dark steps.
Look, mate, I used to run a ship. I wasn't trying to be cheeky with you. It just sounded like it was out of alignment, and that could, cause problems down the line. I've had it happen.
Kind of talking forward as you walk. Got a lot of people with mouths out of alignment, and they keep talking, and it just causes problems. But here we are. And he
Kind of, Reva just rolls his eyes. All right, fine. I won't mention it again. Just trying to help.
He brings you through that same familiar runic exit to those large wooden doors, once again bringing you back to the same chamber with a different sight. You see two things. One, Imora is sitting there, hands on his chin, thinking. That's the first thing you notice, but it's not what surprises you. It's the second thing that you immediately take notice of in this space. And that is your father.
Hey.
Ethan Skybound, sitting, looking as pompous as he ever did. Upon the same chairs that you were just at, not but a few hours ago. And Imora looks over at both of you. Once again, that light flashing, that hand coming forward. I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Yep. You want it open, private, doesn't matter.
Your call.
I'll just do it public because I know if I fail or not.
Okay. With that, Riva, you must speak the truth. You have failed.
Oh, okay.
And Imora looks at you and goes, a family reunion. But under much different circumstances. Last I believed, Ethan, we were discussing what to do about your son. And Ethan just looks back at Imora and goes, well, we were talking about my son last time. Imora goes, no, we were. And Riva, do you know what your father said last time he was here? Did he tell you?
Well, I can't say that I do. I'm assuming that I don't.
No, you don't. You were banished for your actions without, being told. Imora looks back at you and goes, well, I believe he said, if I recall, though he may be my second son, he's not the one I care for. Do with him as you will.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That checks out.
Ethan just he's not even acknowledging you, he's staring at Imora. And Imora goes, I believe the tables have turned, as they say. And Riva, do you have anything to say to your father?
Two. Not that he'll listen. Not that he'll hear.
Oh, but Ethan, you should really look at your son as he casts command and uses the word watch. So with that,
Alright.
I'll make this public for your sanity. Ethan looks at Imora. He does not even acknowledge you.
As I said, honored speaker, he might be my dad by blood, but he's no family of mine. he's caught up in all this running around and smuggling and likes to play like he's all high and mighty. And Aldia is the apple of his eye. And he is. Haldia is the model son. With no compassion, no love, just business as usual. Well, father, you are involved in things that you swore were anathema to the family, and the speaker now knows. I understood why you did what you did to me. I never liked it, I never loved it, never cared for it, but deep down, understanding the man that you were, I understood it. But this duality that you seem to have presented sheds a whole different understanding and light upon what you did to me. And here you sit, no shame, no remorse. I pity you. I, the outcast, pity you. And I spit in his general direction.
Ethan continues to not even acknowledge your presence and looks at the speaker. And the speaker looks at you. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Alright.
Yeah. Make it public or private, your call. We'll say public because technically no one else is here.
Yeah.
For a brief moment, Amora looks impressed because you have spoken your truth. And he understands truth. It's what he seeks. It's what he speaks of. And he looks over at you with an acknowledgement of sorts and looks over at Ethan and goes, well, Ethan, do you have anything to say to your son? Ethan just... that spit of yours just almost reaching him from that...
I would say, can I make a ranged attack roll?
You know what? Let's go for it. Give me a d20 and add your dexterity modifier.
Wait, spit. I love it.
Yeah, let's see.
Just a spit in his face.
Just dex modifier or dex and prof?
I will say just dexterity in this case.
Okay. So that's going to be a +4.
Yeah. Only because it's in kind of like almost a blind fit of rage. Yeah. You just... it slaps the side of his face. And you can tell because of... or you remember from your time with your father that this is something that would normally have set him into a rage, and it is doing he is every ounce of his being to just not lash out and correct his son for the disrespect and the uncourteousness that you've just shown. And he
Well, except I think deep down, like, I'm not his son. I mean, he disowned me so hard.
Correct. But it's that instinct of just how he is that you can tell he just wants to fly at you in a rage, but knows that he can't right now. And he looks over at Amora again, he's continuing to look at him, just his gaze fixed, and just goes, I don't have anything to say about the trash here. Are we done? And Amora goes, this was faster than I thought. Riva Skybound, son of Etham, you may take your leave. You just...
As you say, speaker.
That smile that you saw that was off-putting, it's that same smile as before.
Okay.
And as you get up and take your leave, and right before you cross that threshold to the door, the last thing that you hear as the doors begin to shut slowly behind you, I believe it's time for the path, Mr. Etham. And with that, you are escorted out, passing through that threshold. But the sergeant of the guard says, judgment's been decided. You wait here. He points to two of the guardsmen there that are posted, and he goes down that long hallway, and he grabs the rest of you. And that same door opens. It creaks once again as you all begin to walk up the stairs, meeting Riva at the top. And you begin a long walk outside of this place. And you now get a good visual of this city as you exit this building, this place of truth, as it's called. And you're led towards a path that you didn't know it could exist in a place like this. As you begin to continue to walk, slowly, deliberately, being led to a very different place with a very different feel. You move over the course of the next 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, the better part of an hour, and you arrive at the Heretic's Path. I would like Riva, Redwin, Jareth, and Gorwin. Actually, I would like everyone to make me a history check.
Oh, I lost my bar.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me throw you on there.
Womp, womp, womp.
Oh, not that guy.
Hey, I'm not the only one.
Sorry. There's a million characters I have to deal with.
I was going to say so many ones.
Yikes.
I mean, hey, you rolled a nat 1 and got a 1. I rolled a nat 1 and got an 8.
And if I rolled in that one, I'd get a -1.
Oh no.
I would say Nertho. You have heard of this place. You are the only one.
Okay.
This is the place where they take those who have been branded heretics as an example to the upper society to erase them from memory. This is the place where they take those who have a semblance or worship of faith to towards a god or an ideal outside of what is permitted and are done in.
I'll take a step closer to Riva and say, this is not a good place.
Well, I think there's always a way out. There's always a means. It might mean things get a little dicey.
Are we currently bound?
You are not bound. You are
Have the guards left?
set aside as, and standing there, almost in like a front row seat type of situation. You're at the front end of a crowd that starts to gather. You begin to see what you recognize, Jareth, as Quasitors in training post-molding, and a large number of them. They seem to be trying to understand their gifts, their blessings, and they see in much better spirits than you and younger. You see individuals in robes of all colors and runic designs, and you see a small number of automatons attempting to figure out what's going on, and the clouds in the sky start to become dark. And what you all start to see in this moment is one individual being brought forth in chains, bound by the wrists, mouth bound, forward as they take a long walk through the dirt and the mud, which, interestingly enough, as clean as this place has been, as well maintained as this place has been, it almost seems as if this path leading up to this tower of sorts has been left intentionally dirtied and full of mud. As you see one Captain Serial brought forward as he walks up the steps. And you've known Captain Serial to be a haughty man, one of prominence, one of gusto, someone who is known to be reliable. And he's just brought before this path. And you didn't actually notice this at first. As you look around, you see Speaker Amora at the top of those steps, looking sad. He's almost teary-eyed as one of his own, someone that he should have trusted to do the right thing, to follow the law of the land, comes forward. And as Serial tops those steps, you hear the Speaker Amora. His voice echoes amongst the buildings in this space, and what you hear is this. For crimes against the living, for heresy, for attempting to bring chaos and corruption to the Quasitors, I hereby sentence you to death. Do you have any final words? Serial just takes a moment. He looks around and he smiles. And he doesn't stop smiling. And you watch as you see a rope begin to form around his neck and begins to go skyward. as you watch as Serial begins to choke to death, his body twitching for a moment and becoming still. And with that become discarded to the ground, to be dealt with at a later time, it seems.
Did he even snap his neck? He just
No. They
Rough.
just let him suffocate. Everyone watches in silence. Nothing is said, but it is a stark reminder to those who have been to this place. And
Riva looks away.
And Jareth, something sparks in your memory at this point. Something you haven't remembered since right before you were to go through the molding, where Gadriel sat down and had a drink with you and said, "It's a big day. In heresy we hang." And that's all you remember. A second person begins to emerge from that long, muddied road, and you see an elven man in his later years being dragged through that mud and slowly up those stairs. Riva, you recognize this man. It is your father. It is Ethan Skybound. He, despite being dragged through the mud, attempts to hold his head high as though he's done nothing wrong. His tenacious, pompous personality attempting to shine through. He starts being forced up those stairs, defiant in each step. And you hear the speaker once again, it just echoing throughout the entire space, going, "Etham Skybound, for your participation in the transportation of illicit goods and for enabling heresy, I hereby sentence you to death. Do you have any last words?" As Amora finishes. And Etham looks around. And are you still looking away, Riva?
Oh no, I'm staring him full on, eye to eye. Like him, I am staring down proudly.
For the first time in 23 years, your father looks at you. And it's not his voice that comes out. His eyes have a faint bluish purple hint to them. And a smile just is on his face. And all that is said loudly in return is, "Oh, poor little lamb. Your sister was worth it," as that rope encompasses his neck and moves skyward.
Can I make an insight check?
Go for it.
Would we have seen the blue light in his...
That's what I'm curious about. Was that his
Yeah.
natural eye color?
It was, you've never met him before, so I will say, if you go ahead and make a perception check to see that. Everyone who wanted to, give a chance at it.
Do you want it blind or doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Too late.
Okay.
Ah, just trash tonight.
Okay.
Riva takes 3 psychic damage.
That's fair. Gorwin, you do see this. Neritha, would you like to make a check?
No, I'm more concerned about Riva.
Would that perception roll also apply to his voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as he says those words, I would say, actually, Nertho. Yeah, I would say Nertho, Gorwin, Jareth. Actually, I would say everyone recognizes this new this just recognizes the fact that Riva just actually took a step back from something where he's so forward and bold and brave and is leaning into whatever comes his way isn't for the first time. And you just watch as his father is hung there, and it's almost unnatural as the smile doesn't leave the face as the body continues to just stand there in space. And as this happens, clouds almost form in the sky as they had already been, and the rain starts pouring down. And it's odd. None of you have seen a person hung before, but this one is smiling.
Well, that's
I
not
guess
true.
this is
We
the
just
second
saw
one.
Serial
Correct.
hung.
Serial hung and died quickly, but Ethan is smiling. And as where the body should and its life should end, you just see it mouth the words, "Poor little lamb." And with that, the speaker looks about to the crowd gathered and says, "Remember your oath. Remember what we protect to prevent this. Reflect so that we may see the truth and why we do what we do and how we ensure our continued survival. Peace be with all of you. Let us strive to ensure that we see the next era." And with that, the crowds begin to disperse. The sergeant of the guard, that dragonborn again, who has been with you through all of this, goes, "You've got an hour with your dad. The speaker will see you then. I'll be waiting over here." And in a moment of compassion, he looks over at your Riva and just gives you a firm slap on the shoulder and goes, "Sorry, loudmouth," and walks away. And with that, what would you like to do?
If I have time with his body, right?
You're left alone at your devices. Amora is... Actually, everyone make me a perception check right now.
Well, you just said I have an hour with my dad.
Correct. He's just there on the ground in the mud. Amora is standing at the top, and
Yeah, I would actually definitely
Get out of the way.
go for all perception.
yep. Yeah, it's for what Amora's doing. So, yeah. Amora's just
I would
standing
actually
there
definitely
watching.
go up to my dad's
Okay.
now corpse. Despite everything that just occurred, Riva does still have reverence for the dead. Even his dad. That his crimes in life, as numerous as Riva may have felt they have been, that he still understands that it wasn't a crime against Riva. What he did to Riva was what was called for by the law. And Riva was in the zone of truth, and he meant what he said, that he understood it, that he got it, that it was what needed to be done by someone. But for him to go around and then break the same laws that Riva knew that he supposedly upheld and honored and cherished, and that was like Ethan's whole being, has caused this just ripple to go through him. And then his final words, which I gave myself a wisdom saving throw on that I failed, and then took a d6 of psychic damage over my sister. I look down and I kind of look at the speaker and say, if I may. And I bend down to the body and I take the family's signet ring.
You remove it from his right hand.
Off of his corpse. And I go to hand it over to the speaker. And I say to him, can you please see that my brother receives his right?
Amora looks at you with arguably the first true sign of emotion as a tear runs down his cheek and goes, I will pass on proper judgment within the rights of the family.
And I think deep down, Imora would understand that, like, I would hold no love for my brother. But having been raised the way that I was raised, is that duty is still duty, honor is still honor. And I might not like my brother, but it's not my right. This ring, by any rights, doesn't belong to me, period. As much as I think Riva deep down would love to take it and keep it, and keep that birthright, and keep all of what it means. But whether the speaker was here or not, he would want to make sure his brother got his rights. But especially with the speaker right here, doing the right thing is paramount in Riva's mind right now. Like, showing that I might be the outcast. My father and family might have disowned me and sent me into what they consider the abyss of life. But I still know what duty is. I still know what honor is. And I have not lost mine, because the thing that led me to disgrace was honorable. And no one is ever going to convince Riva otherwise. Riva understood the laws. Riva understood the consequences if he got caught. Riva understood all of that. You know, not all laws are just. Not all laws are right. But he wants to make sure that the laws in this instance are followed. And he looks to the speaker. He says, if I may, speaker, his eyes, did you see them?
I see everything in judgment. Everything in death. Everything in the chance of life. And what I will say is, I will give you time. I will take my leave. And I will see you soon. For your judgment and your family is at hand. So, cherish what you have. Enjoy the time you have. And we will talk soon. For upon the hour, change will occur. So, say your goodbyes. I will inform your brother.
And then for my mother's sake, I prepare the body the best that I can.
So the speaker Mora begins to leave the stage, and as he does, all of you watch as Riva begins to prepare Etham in traditional elven rites as much as the sergeant of the guard stayed away before he begins to help you. He kind of gives you that weird nod where it's like he doesn't quite understand, but he's there to help in this just trying time. And it's an awkward exchange, but it's understood.
It's what's one of those it's the way Riva approaches it. It's as distasteful as Riva finds it. It's one of those few things that must be.
Yep.
It's all the forms and the ceremony and everything is observed. Whether you like the person or not doesn't matter.
You just
Whether
do
you
it.
loathe them or not, it doesn't matter. Death is death. And despite how despicable you might find someone, it's still death. And you could only hope for an honorable, burial, air finger quotes, burial, whatever, ceremony after you die, no matter who you were.
Does anyone else wish to join in?
Yeah, I think
Anybody?
Jareth will step forward.
All right, Jareth
Say,
steps forward.
Neritho, don't leave me hanging here.
I guess the question is, Naruto, do you perform the rites before you, or do you perform the more traditional rites that you were raised with?
The rights before me in this
Okay.
place.
All right.
Specifically, I'm not gonna.
Perfect. Fair question. Fair answer.
Yep.
Start speaking in tongues.
Yep. Gorwyn, Redwyn, would either of you like to participate in this burial?
Yeah, I'll make myself
Yeah.
available, but I'm also not really sure what to do.
So Gorwyn and Redwyn, you're not encountering anything like this before. You follow direction best you can from Riva as you straighten the body, you prepare it, you make it as presentable as you can in this just awful situation, and you look over Riva at the sergeant of the guard, and you've never asked his name before, and he goes, do you need a hand in having this taken care of?
I do. I mean, our fates, still, have been decided, but unbeknownst to us, I think, if anything, that Haldia, as the patriarch and now scion of the house, needs to be delivered his body for proper internment.
Well, I'll deliver your father, the Dragonborn says. He goes, you seem like a decent bunch, and I wish you best of fortune upon your deciding. This isn't the first time I've dealt with this, nor will it be the last, but you can depend on me. And he just holds his hand out and he goes, I'm sorry for your loss, and my name is Lanik. I'll deliver your father's body to your brother.
Thank you, Lanik.
And with that,
give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
1 second. And for God's sakes, please check sweep 3.
Here, he just looks at you and goes, God, and looks really frustrated in the situation. Goes, one time, and he, as respectfully as he can, grabs your father's corpse and picks it up as you've said your goodbyes and as you've placed your trinkets and baubles on him and put him in the proper position he should be. And Lanik begins to carry him away. And as he does, you are greeted by another guard who gestures for you to follow them back to where you came from, back to the hallways, back to the court. And with that, we will end tonight's session.
Whew.